Whew, okay, this video has literally been a long time coming, and in light of certain events, I just need to talk about this, and because I always talk about it every now and then anytime I'm visiting someone, we always just get into talking about politics and real life and how awful the world actually is. I am probably gonna get heated and yell. I hope I don't, because I don't really like yelling and I'm not an angry person, but this stuff is like one of the few things that absolutely fuels me. I don't know if it's just Trump or Trump supporters. Okay, like, at this point, if you support Trump, literally what the hell is wrong with you? What the actual hell is wrong with you? The entire Republican Party has, like, basically denounced him already, so I'm like, if you're still supporting him, there's probably something freaking wrong with you, or you're just so, like, set in your ways that you just think it's fine. Like, I don't see how you can just be okay with any of this kind of treatment anymore, and there's just so much into this, and I don't see how people can be so absolutely insane and still just be so, like, okay with things that are happening. I mean, like, literally, election year. I knew Hillary wasn't gonna win. Sorry, Hillary. I just knew you weren't gonna win. There's just no way. But I didn't think things would get as bad as they did. There was literally fear in our classrooms. Like, most of us were, like, Hispanic and everything. And, like, you know, there was also, like, LGBT kids in the classes and everything, like, it was English class, and we were like, oh, you know, like, there was clear unsettlement, and, like, the freaking, what do you call them, the counselors were apparently open doors for the week, because, you know, people felt fear and discomfort, and were like, oh, you know, like, if you need to talk about things, or if you don't feel safe, this and that, like, go talk to these people, like, they're open, talk to them whenever you want, like, just get up and leave, you don't have to tell me anything, like, that's it. And this freaking white-ass, super Republican-ass dude who clearly adheres to everything Republican values stand for was like, well, I feel safe. And I was like, holy fucking shit, how can you be so absolutely, like, how do you think this is about you at all? Like, are you so, like, obtuse or just, like, self-centered that you really believed that we think you don't feel safe? Like, this dude represents everything you stand for. Clearly, you are not the one who should feel unsafe because you got what you wanted, you won, kudos. Like, I'm like, how can you, And even just looking around at the world and everything, and I'm like, it's not even in the worst dystopian novel can I imagine that this kind of shit would act like it would be like reading this shit. It would be laughable how insane and unfunny and just completely impossible this kind of thing would be. But no, here we are, light of day in the real world with all this kind of shit going on. Look, I don't care if you're a Republican. I really don't care if you're a Republican. Like, that's fine. But if you are pro-Trump, I don't want anything to do with you. If you are pro-Trump, you are anti-me, and you and I are not gonna get along. I don't care what you think. I don't care how nice you are or how nice I am. I don't care. Like, I don't see how you can be so, like, fine with the way things are. And, like, yeah, you can be like, that's why I'm like, you can be Republican, and you can be like, yes, I do agree with these policies, but just don't fucking say you're pro-Trump. Otherwise, I hate you. I don't want anything to do with you. Like, that's it. Like, you and I cannot be friends. And this isn't even just like some SJW spew bullshit. Like, this is a whole moral, like, differences. Like, we have whole moral differences, and I have nothing to do with you and nothing to gain from talking to you ever, because we are not gonna agree about this kind of stuff. If you are fine with any of, like, the detainment that is happening, I hate you, and I want nothing to do with you. Not even in my absolute coldest wishes could I ever wish something that is happening to these people would happen to you or your kids ever. Even in the absolute spite and sheer, like, wish that you could sympathize or have some situation that would make you finally understand, I would never wish something so horrible on you. Like, I can't. That shit's awful. There was a kid who was wrongfully detained for 3 weeks, and he lost, I think it was 28 pounds. And I hate so much that people are like, oh, well, you should have just come here legally then. Like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Coming here legally takes years. One of my friends, I think it was her uncle or something, he was confirmed for it or whatever, but things wouldn't process for like 10 to 15 years, and someone was like, oh, well, I don't believe that. I don't fucking care if you don't believe that. Yes, it sounds astronomical and like a huge exaggeration, and that wouldn't be possible. Like, that sounds ludicrous, right? Yeah, just because it does, doesn't mean it isn't happening. Like, this is just because you, like, it sounds like this shouldn't be happening. Yes, it shouldn't be happening, and it should be a quicker process. Like, yes, they got the legality. You just think it's like, oh, stamp of approval, go into the United States, and everything's okay. No, there's a whole fucking process, and with a whole ton of people seeking refuge here. Oh my god, I hate. I'm like, I don't see how you can actually tell me, oh, well, if they didn't want that to happen to their kids, then they should have come here legally. Are you fucking dense? Are you fucking insane? How could you, on children, even, like, just, like, are you really trying to be like, oh yes, their children deserve this because their parents came here illegally? Are you fucking nuts? If anything, you, like, I don't know what kind of crazy moral principle or some bullshit religion you're living on, but that shit is not okay. In any way. In any fucking way. I don't know, I'm like, I don't see how you, like, I'm like, if you are religious, you're going to hell. You're going to hell, because that's insane. If you are fine with, like, this kind of treatment for people, you aren't moral. That's just the fact of it. Like, even in the Bible, there's, like, that whole, like, treat a foreigner as you would, like, a person of your home because you were once a foreigner in Egypt. Like, that's a thing in scripture. So I'm like, you are being like, oh yeah, fuck these people. Yeah, they should starve. Yeah, they should be held in these, and I hate how people are like, oh, they're not concentration camps because this and that. Like, no, there were literally people who were war captives were like, oh no, they gave me, like, toothpaste and this and that. Like, they gave me, like, actual stuff to, like, make sure I survived. And people are like, these situations in these little detainment camps are worse. And people are like, oh, well, it's not a freaking concentration camp because they're not using gas, and it's not Jews. Like, I don't care if it's not Jews. I know it's not Jews. It's clearly not Jews. It's literally Latin American people. You don't see white passing people having to worry about this kind of thing. You don't have to worry about false detainment. You don't have to worry about being taken away from people for like 3 weeks over either false or even just because you are illegal. And I'm like, that's the thing. I'm like, I'm not saying, yeah, like, everyone's welcome and everything's okay, like, to just come in here, because I know there is people who probably do pose a threat to us as, like, a country. But I'm like, are you so insane that you think literally everyone needs to be penalized because there is, like, the minuscule portion of people who actually do wish ill will on the United States? Like, are you insane? I'm like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. This is just, I'm gonna sound crazy because I'm like, but I don't care if you don't listen to me, if you think I'm on some like crazy insane tangent about like this and I'm being super SJW or leftist. I don't fucking care. There's so many things that are wrong, and I'm like I hate when people also say that, oh, well, they should just fix their own country before they come to this one. No, you fucking dumb piece of shit. How are they gonna fix it? How are they gonna fix it? Like, literally, I think in Mexico, the freaking, like, drug, I guess, like, overlords are freaking in control of most of things. They are in control of, like, police forces and everything. Nothing is going to happen to them, and how the hell do you think a normal civilian is gonna have any, like, influence on it? Like, people are gonna get killed. This is like a whole, like, if you speak up against me, you're gonna get killed. How do you expect anyone is gonna change anything like that? Because you can't say anything against the higher powers, or you're gonna get killed. There's no way how can you actually tell me that kind of thing? How can you actually believe that someone who is seeking refuge and wants better for their kids, that they're wrong and they're illegal and they're a bad person? How the fuck could you actually tell me that you think they should have fixed their country first before going? No, they're leaving for that reason. They're leaving for the better of their child. And if you think that is wrong, or you think they deserve any of the kind of treatment they're getting just because they want better for their kids and their future offsprings, you're fucking insane. And I really don't want anything to do with you at all. Like, I don't know what kind of crap you're fucking living in, because that is the most insane bullshit. And if you don't even see how that's wrong, you're beyond help. You're beyond help, and clearly that's why I wouldn't want to talk to you anyways, because if you don't even see, like, I don't know if you don't just lack sympathy, or you're just racist or something, like, you can just say you're racist. Take it and just admit that you're racist, and that, like, then it'll be more understanding. But if you claim to be just great and so American views and just super Christian, this and that shit, and believe in these kinds of things, fuck you. Fuck you. I genuinely believe you will go to hell. I believe you will go to hell. And do you even get any moral, like, sympathy? I don't know. And I know correlation doesn't equal causation, but, like, how do people just continue to deny that Trump being elected in office doesn't, like, that How do people deny that Trump being elected into office doesn't have to do with all the hate crimes that spiked? Like, when Barack Obama was in office, an actual better embodiment of what American values should be, like stable family, like nuclear family, all this, great guy, funny, joked, loved his kids, no scandals in his family with marriages, no sexual, like, predator abuse allegations. That guy was a good guy. That guy was a good guy. I don't care if you didn't vote for him. You can't tell me that that was not a noble dude. Like, and now, in this election, after this election, with our current president, there is a ton of hate crimes. And again, I know correlation doesn't equal causation, but there is a clear, like, cause and effect chain. Like, the dude who killed the El Paso people, like, that dude drove hours to a specifically Latin community to make sure that he would kill Latin people. You can't tell me that someone would have just done that if it wasn't for some freaking nut job in the office who clearly spews nothing but hatred towards these people. I don't see how, and there's just, like, just seeing, if I was to ever read this anywhere, this would be insane. That people would be so undeniably ignorant. Have you seen those interviews where, like, they ask people this and stuff, and like they do quotes between Hitler and Trump and this and that, and like it's Hitler, and these people just agree with all this shit, and I'm like, are you nuts? And like, there's also those people who clearly have no idea what they're talking about, or no idea in politics, and people are like, oh, it's not nice to bully these people. Like, no, it kind of fucking is. This person is voting, and they clearly have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. They have no idea what's happening in what their political leader believes, or anything. I'm like, yes, I will pick fun at this person for being absolutely fucking stupid and nuts, and just so out of the loop, because they are voting, and they have a clear choice and favorite, despite having absolutely no knowledge of anything that's happening. The dude made fun of disabled people. He has a weird, gross relationship with his children. His companies have gone bankrupt. He clearly isn't really for LGBT people. The trans people military thing ban, like, that's happening. I don't see how people keep just somehow permitting all these things and just making excuses for the guy. He made fun of a disabled man in a whole ass interview. I don't know, I get people are like, oh yeah, PC culture is like too much. Like, yeah, maybe PC culture is a little far, but making fun of a disabled person, having allegations of touching someone, like, these aren't just coming out of nowhere. People aren't doing it for attention because, do you remember any of the people who made these accusations' names? Because I sure don't. And the whole, was it Epstein or whatever, the guy who freaking died in jail, who killed himself, like, how do you not understand that there's a whole giant system of cahoots happening that clearly is keeping people in power from having worse than on their name? I don't even know how they're still in power with all the bad that is on their name anyways. But the guy died miraculously somehow, and, like, is that not suspicious? Like, these people who were just like, oh yeah, the cameras are shut off, and people who are just, like, completely rolling with it, I'm like, how are you fucking insane? I'm like, you are literally, there's people who are like, oh, don't believe everything in, like, that you read, and, like, fake news and this and that. You are literally the embodiment of being their audience. You are the people who believe in the fake news. You're the sheep. You're the sheep. Like, oh my god. This isn't even a joke anymore. This is like, if you're pro-Trump, I don't want anything to do with you at all. That's it. You can be like, I want America to strive. You can be like, yeah, I hold more Republican views than anything. That's fine. That's fine. But if you are pro-Trump and you are fine with this whole detainment shit, fuck you. Fuck you in your entirety. I hate you. I don't want anything to do with you. You and I aren't gonna get along. This isn't a whole, like, we can be best friends even though we disagree. Like, no, this is whole moral differences, and I don't want anything to do with you at all. At all. I couldn't fathom even looking at you, talking to you, hearing any of this shit come out of your mouth. I couldn't. I can't wish ill will on you at all, because I'm not that kind of person. But, like, no one's, how are you going to be held accountable? How are you going to learn? How are you going to change? Like, you need to, and that's just the fact of it. Like, this is, oh my god, this is just nuts. This is nuts. The world is in a shit-ass state, and people are just, rolling with it. Windmills cause cancer. Like, are you fucking serious? How can you be so greedy? How are people so greedy that in one lifetime, like, let's say maybe you live like 82, in one lifetime, what are you gonna do with billions of fucking dollars. You know, if I had $1 million, like, if it was, the tax portion was already taken out and I had a flat million, I could buy a house. Maybe buy a $300,000 house. Boom. Great. Buy a maybe kind of this year car, $100,000 right there. There's still like $60,000 left. What do I do with that? Could you imagine? I have absolutely no idea what I could do with $1 million, let alone billions of dollars. Or more than just 1 million, like tens of millions. I have no idea. I could buy a house and then I could buy a car. Then what? What could people be so greedy for in one lifetime, one single lifetime, that they just keep doing terrible things to accrue more money? What do you do with that kind of money? I could never envision anything like that. I'm like, the guy goes golfing and that shit. Like, okay, like, is golfing that fun? Where does he go golfing that he's spending all this fucking money? If I had $1 million, I could buy a house and a car, and I'd still have more than half the money, and I would have no idea what to do with it. How do people just completely continue to do this crazy bullshit to just get more money? What do you do with all that money? Like, what? Owning more cars? Or owning houses, like, on the coasts for, like, a vacation home? What the fuck? Like, you go to that house once, just get, like, a timeshare or something, or just rent a hotel. What? Like, what could you do? With $1 million, I could not fathom anything I could do. I barely wasted half the money with buying a house and buying a car. A good car. Like, not just like a random, like, moderately used modern car. No, like a whole, like a generally very new car would still be like $100,000. Like, it's, what do you do with $600,000? No idea. With the other half of just 1 million, I have no actual idea what I could do. How could someone be so greedy that you keep wanting more and you're already in the billions? Like, what do you do? What do you do with that money? Why do you people who are insanely rich not contribute back into the economy? I know there's people who do. Good for them. I really respect the hell out of them. But I'm like, what do these other people do? These people aren't doing anything great. And like the freaking Brazil thing and the fires and oh my god. He refused to accept help? Why? Why? People were going to give that guy millions to be like, hey, stop the Amazon fire. And he was like, no, we don't need your help. We can do this. And I'm like, oh my god, the earth's fucking dying. Like, how? What kind of greed? How is that? Like, what do you think? Like, do you just think you're gonna live forever or some shit? What are you gonna do? Who are you gonna pass that on to? It's not gonna satisfy you. And, like, I don't think you care for your kids that much that you're like, yeah, I want them to have literally everything always forever. Like, I don't think you could relinquish everything to your kids and feel like you're fully living through them by giving them all this money. Like, no, you know you're not living through them. And then, like, what, you just, like, I take comfort in knowing that my kid's gonna be comfortable in life, but, like, that comfortable, and then just gonna keep going. Like, what do you do? What kind of shit do you just do to keep gaining money for absolutely nothing? This shit's, like, awful. This is like a horror movie. This is worse than dystopian shit I've read. Like, this is nuts. Y'all. I don't even have more to say. Like, there's never any confidence that I'm gonna get through to anyone who already is backing this dude up. And that's just it. You know?